Thank you. Darcy. Thank you. Thank you. So, what's up? Seems like life is good, huh? It's really a great privilege to be with all of you today, and especially this wonderful launch of a really great product. Zri, I think it's going to affect the lives of millions of people. And I'm very grateful to have the opportunity to say a few words and speak to you about where I think the future of healing is going. What's going to happen in this area? Because it's obvious that all of you are in the forefront of a new understanding of what it means to be healthy. What does the word healing really mean? I think probably you're aware that the word health and the word healing and the word holy are all the same word. Healing is the return of the memory of wholeness. Healing ultimately is not just the absence of a disease. Healing ultimately is not just a state of perfect physical, mental, emotional well-being. Healing is to find out who you are. The word in Vedanta is moksha, which means freedom, which means enlightenment. So healing is a spiritual experience. It's also the experience of complete and total loss of fear, including the fear of our own mortality, the fear of death. To get in touch with that part of yourself that never dies. And it's interesting to me that I'm here speaking to you about this, and to give you a little background, a little bit was mentioned, of course, that I was trained as a Western physician. I was trained in internal medicine and endocrinology, and ultimately neuroendocrinology, which is the study of brain chemistry. I came to the United States in 1970. Bill didn't say, but I'm over 100 years of age already. And when I came here, immediately after medical school, there was a great shortage of physicians. The Vietnam War was still on, and we were being recruited from all over the world. And to discourage us from leaving India, because this was considered a brain drain, we were not allowed to leave the country with more than $8. But I had an uncle in England, and he lent me $100, so I had $108, which, if you know anything about Indian mythology, is a very auspicious number. So I thought I should do something auspicious with my $108. And I went to Paris and spent it all in one night at the Moulin Rouge. So when I arrived in New York, I had nothing, zero. And I called my hospital administrator. You know, America has great customs. One of them is called a collect call. So I made a collect call. And I told the hospital administrator, I said, if you want a doctor, you'll have to pick me up. So they were so desperate, they sent me a helicopter. And my first experience of the United States is lifting off in a helicopter from Manhattan, looking at the beautiful skyline, and wondering if I was in Disney World. Shortly thereafter, we arrived at this very little plain town, and it was appropriately named Plainfield, New Jersey. And somebody from Plainfield, okay. So I reported to the emergency room and the nurse said, we'll call you in a little while when your shift starts. So I went to the dorm. I switched on the television set. I was watching Wimbledon, and suddenly the program was interrupted. There was a news bulletin. There had been a shootout at the local bank. Some policemen had been injured, and they were being brought to the emergency room where I was supposed to work. Now, of course, I'd passed all my exams, but I had never actually seen a patient in my life. So I had my first attack of acute panic. Shortly thereafter, the nurse called me and she said, Dr. Chopra, we have an expiration. And I had no idea what that word meant, but of course I didn't want to let on, so I said, you bet, I'll be there. And I bounded down the stairs, reported to the nurse, and she led me to a room where somebody had died. There were lots of machines, no people. In India, we used to have lots of people and no machines. And I looked at this dead body. Then I looked at the nurse and I said, he's dead. And she said, I told you, we had an expiration. So at least I found out the meaning of the word, the opposite of what you're here for, inspiration. So I looked at her and I said, if the patient is already dead, why do you need a doctor? And she looked at me and she said, pronounce him. Pronounce him. So I now was sure I was in a different galaxy where your soul couldn't leave your body till a medical deity, otherwise known as MD, said, you're free now, I release you. So, anyway, then I realized that doctors, MDs, we are like shamans. We have our own rituals. There's no difference between us and ancient witch doctors. Instead of wearing feathers around our neck, we wear stethoscopes. We don't have a leopard skin, we have a white coat. We don't use Aborigine mantras, we use Latin mantras. We don't dance around a fire, we dance around CAT scanners. And we do our own rituals. So having learnt English in an English school, which is slightly different than American English, I asked the nurse for a torch, which is the English word for flashlight. I said, may I have a torch, please? And she looked at me and she said, I beg your pardon? And there were people outside now, other nurses, and they're all watching this melodrama. And my nurse looked at the nurse outside and she said, he wants a torch. And the other nurse kind of looked me up and down and she said, maybe he wants to do a cremation. So it was a bit of a rocky start.